Welcome back, everyone, to the channel for another deep dive, and today we are headed into the world of Formula One.
Ooh, exciting.
It is exciting. There's a lot going on, and we're focusing specifically on Aston Martin.
All right.
And, you know, they're making some pretty big moves kind of behind the scenes.
Yeah, under the radar.
Yeah, and we have some great intel from the Italian press, specifically Giuliano Duchessa's reporting in Auto Racer.
Okay.
So we're going to be kind of looking at what he's saying and kind of breaking it down and seeing what we can learn about the future of this team.
It seems like they're, thinking long term.
Yeah, they really are. This isn't just about next season. This is about laying the groundwork for something much, much bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And we're thinking all the way to 2026, potentially a shakeup of the whole F1 landscape.
Big goals.
Big goals.
Yeah.
So to understand kind of the scale of what they're doing, we need to start with 2025.
Okay.
So their timeline is like this carefully orchestrated symphony of these high-profile arrivals and cutting-edge technology.
I like that analogy.
First up, January 1st, 2025,
Right?
ENRICO CARDILE,
Oh, wow.
formerly of Ferrari, steps in as chief technical officer.
CARDILE's a big name.
Yeah.
His expertise is in chassis development, but it's not just about his technical skills. He was also really deeply involved in the organizational restructuring at Ferrari,
Right.
which yielded some impressive efficiency gains. I mean,
Yeah.
Aston Martin's clearly hoping he can bring some of that magic, to their team.
It does make you wonder, though, how much of Ferrari's structure can be directly applied to Aston Martin.
Yeah.
There are different teams, different cultures, different resources.
Yeah.
Will CARDILE's experience translate smoothly?
That is the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
That's what we'll be watching very closely. But for now, let's move on to February 2025,
Okay.
when Aston Martin's state-of-the-art wind tunnel becomes fully operational.
Ah, yes, the wind tunnel.
Yeah.
We've heard whispers about this incredible new simulator, but this is the next level.
Absolutely.
For our listeners who might not be super familiar with all the technical jargon,
Yeah.
what is the significance of this new wind tunnel?
Yeah, essentially a wind tunnel is like this massive controlled environment where teams can actually test the aerodynamic performance of their cars.
Oh, wow.
So it allows them to simulate real-world racing conditions and gather, really crucial data to refine their designs.
Wow.
This new facility is going to give Aston Martin a significant edge in the development race.
I mean, they've already got, driver Donny Ucadella putting the simulator through its paces.
Right.
So it seems like they're not wasting any time in their quest for that technological edge.
Mm-hmm.
But hold on to your hats, because March 1st, 2025,
Here we go.
things get really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The Formula One legend himself, ADRIAN NEWEY, joins Aston Martin as managing technical partner
Wow.
and shareholder.
We're talking about the mastermind behind Red Bull's dominance, a man whose name is synonymous with aerodynamic innovation.
Now, NEWEY is known for being very hands-on, deeply involved in every aspect of car design.
Yeah.
How will that work within Aston Martin's existing structure?
It's a good question.
Will there be clashes of ego or design philosophy?
It's certainly a bold move to bring in someone with such a strong personality and a distinct approach. However, NEWEY's early involvement in the 2026 car development suggests that Aston Martin is giving him a lot of freedom, a lot of influence. This could be a recipe for either brilliant success or spectacular failure. Only time will tell how this dynamic plays out.
It's certainly creating a lot of buzz in the F1 community. Speaking of big names and potential shakeups, let's talk about Dan Fallows.
Okay.
He was head of aerodynamics at Red Bull before making the switch to Aston Martin.
And now, interestingly, he's moved to Aston Martin's road car division.
Interesting.
This has raised a few eyebrows as it seems suspiciously convenient.
Yeah.
Some people are suggesting that this might be a way to exploit loopholes in the budget cap and intellectual property regulations.
I can see why people might be suspicious after all the regulations are designed to prevent teams from gaining an unfair advantage by sharing knowledge between their F1 operations and other parts of the company.
Exactly. Formula One regulations are very clear. Any research and development within a company that relates to their F1 team falls under the budget cap.
Right.
So even if Fallows is working on the Aston Martin Valkyrie's diffuser, for example,
Right.
and that knowledge benefits their F1 car, it technically needs to be accounted for.
But proving that connection, proving that information is being shared in a way that violates the regulations,
Right.
that's a much harder task.
It certainly is, and it puts the FIA, the governing body of Formula One, in a tricky position. They need to find a balance between enforcing the rules and avoiding accusations of stifling innovation or penalizing teams unfairly. It's a complex issue, for sure. No easy answers, but, perhaps it's a testament to the ingenuity of these teams always, constantly seeking that edge within the, constraints of the rules.
Right. Yeah, it's that constant push and pull, that strategic maneuvering that makes Formula One so fascinating. But back to Aston Martin, this whole Fallows situation. It makes you wonder about their overall approach. They're clearly not afraid to push the boundaries to test the limits.
It's a high-risk, high-reward strategy, and it seems to be part of a larger trend. Remember, we've also got Andy Cowell, the former engine guru from Mercedes, working on the Honda Power Unit that Aston Martin will be using.
But Cowell, that's another huge piece of the puzzle. So we've got CARDILE, we've got NEWEY, and we've got Cowell. Three massive figures in Formula One, all working under the Aston Martin banner. It's like they're assembling this dream team of technical experts.
It's fascinating, this convergence of talent and experience, and it really highlights the importance of team structure in Formula One. You can have all the brilliant minds in the world, but if they're not working together effectively, if there's no clear direction or shared vision, then it all falls apart.
This is where CARDILE's experience with organizational restructuring could be crucial. He's seen firsthand what works and what doesn't, what kind of environment fosters collaboration and innovation.
Precisely. It's not just about individual brilliance. It's about creating a system, a culture where talent can thrive. And that brings us back to the big question, why is Aston Martin making all these moves, assembling this super team, if their main focus is on the 2026 season?
Yeah, it seems like a huge investment for a season that's still 2 years away. Are they sacrificing potential success in the short term for this gamble on long-term dominance?
That's the intriguing part. Remember, the 2026 season comes with a major overhaul of the regulations. It's like hitting the reset button on the sport engine regulations, aerodynamic rules. Everything's changing.
So Aston Martin could be using 2025 as a sort of testing ground a year to experiment with new concepts, gather data, refine their approach, even if it means they're not, at the front of the grid right away.
Exactly. They're taking a long-term view, building a foundation for the future. And let's not forget, even while experimenting, gathering data, they still have the potential to achieve some impressive results in 2025.
Imagine seeing glimpses of their 2026 potential shining through during the 2025 season. It would send shockwaves through the paddock, letting everyone know that Aston Martin is a force to be reckoned with.
It would certainly be a statement of intent, a declaration that they're not just here to make up the numbers, they're here to win championships.
It's a bold strategy, no doubt. But with the talent they're assembling, the resources they're investing, and the vision they're projecting, Aston Martin could be on the cusp of something truly special.
It's a fascinating narrative unfolding before our eyes, and it begs the question, will this gamble pay off? Will they be able to harness all this potential and translate it into success on the track?
That's what makes Formula One so captivating, the blend of strategy, technology, and human ambition. And with Aston Martin making such bold moves, the 2025 and 2026 seasons are shaping up to be some of the most exciting in recent memory.
It's high stakes, that's for sure. But to really understand the scope of this gamble, we need to kind of dig a bit deeper into those 2026 regulation changes.
Okay.
These aren't just minor tweaks. We're talking about a fundamental shift in the, DNA of Formula One cars.
All right, break it down for us. What are the key changes and how might they play into Aston Martin's hands?
Well, one of the biggest is the engine formula. We're moving towards a much greater emphasis on electrical power.
Right.
With this powerful electric motor supplementing the internal combustion engine.
Right.
This plays right into the hands of someone like Andy Cowell, who's been at the forefront of hybrid engine development for years.
So Aston Martin could have a significant advantage in terms of power unit performance right out of the gate. What about the aerodynamic regulations?
Yeah.
How are those changing?
Yeah, they're simplifying the aerodynamics, making the cars less reliant on these complex wings and appendages.
Okay.
And this is intended to promote closer racing and overtaking. Now, this could be seen as a disadvantage for someone like NEWEY, who's famous for his very intricate aerodynamic designs.
That's an interesting point. So it's not a guaranteed slam dunk for Aston Martin. There are challenges and potential pitfalls along the way.
Absolutely, and that's what makes this whole situation so compelling.
Yeah.
Will NEWEY be able to adapt his design philosophy to this new era of simpler aerodynamics? Will CARDILE be able to create that team structure that maximizes the talents of these really strong personalities?
It's a fascinating experiment, a high-stakes gamble that could redefine the pecking order in Formula One. But let's bring it back to our listeners for a moment. What does this all mean for someone who's passionate about this sport?
Well, it means we're on the verge of a potentially seismic shift. We could see a new team emerge as a dominant force challenging the established order, and it all hinges on Aston Martin's ability to execute this very ambitious plan.
So the big question is, will Aston Martin's gamble pay off? Will their focus on 2026, their willingness to sacrifice short-term gains for that long-term vision, ultimately lead to championship glory, or will they fall behind their rivals who are more focused on immediate success?
It's a question we can't answer today, but it's a question that will keep us all on the edge of our seats for the next 2 years. The intrigue is palpable, the anticipation is building, and the stakes are incredibly high. This is Formula One at its most exciting a sport, where innovation strategy and human ambition collide in this spectacular display of speed and skill.
And we've only just scratched the surface.
Right.
There's so much more to uncover, so many twists and turns yet to come. But for now, we'll leave you with this final thought. Keep your eyes on Aston Martin. They're not just playing the game, they're trying to rewrite the rules.
And we'll be here to analyze every move, every decision, every innovation as this incredible story unfolds.
This has been an incredible deep dive into the heart of Aston Martin's Formula One ambitions. We hope you enjoyed this behind-the-scenes look at one of the most fascinating teams in motorsport.
Remember to subscribe for more deep dives into the world of Formula One. We'll be back soon with another thrilling episode exploring the strategies, technologies, and personalities that make this sport so captivating. Until then, keep those engines revving.